Welcome back to the 1 Minute Fluent English Podcast. I'm Jake.
And I'm Sarah. Jake, I am starving. Let's talk about food today. What's the most interesting restaurant you've been to lately?
Ooh, good question. I went to this super trendy place last week. It was so modern that I felt like I had traveled to the future. They didn't even have waiters, just robots.
Robots? Seriously? Did a robot take your order?
Not exactly. There was no paper menu. We had to scan a tiny QR code with my phone to see the food. My parents would have been so confused.
I know, right? It's convenient, but sometimes you just miss the simple things. It sounds a lot like the situation in our story today, where a fun dinner with friends becomes a little complicated.
Exactly. Let's just say technology isn't always the easiest dining companion. Let's jump into it.
Last weekend, my friends and I went to a new restaurant. I heard it was all the rage, so we were all very excited. When we sat down, I looked for a menu, but there wasn't one. In place of a paper menu, there was a small QR code on the table. My friend, Hanako, scanned it with her phone. Then, all four of us huddled around her small screen to see the food. It was like we were studying for a test. It was a bit of a pain, honestly. I saw an older couple at the next table. They looked completely at a loss. It made me think, sometimes the old school way is just better and more comfortable for everyone.
Okay, let's break down some of the useful vocabulary from that story. The first one is all the rage.
Ooh, I like this one. What does it mean, Jake?
It just means something is very popular or fashionable at the moment. In the story, the new restaurant was very trendy, so it was all the rage.
Exactly. You could say, this new hairstyle is all the rage right now. It's like everyone is doing it.
Right. It's not just for places. A song, a game, a type of food, anything can be all the rage if it's super popular.
So it's a fun and stylish way to say very popular.
I love it. Now, let's try it out with some short dialogues.
Have you tried that new bubble tea shop?
Yes, it's all the rage. The line was so long.
Why is everyone wearing bright yellow jackets?
I don't know, but they seem to be all the rage this season.
Next up, we have the very useful phrase, in place of.
This is a great one. It means something is substituting or replacing something else. It's in the position where the other thing should be.
That's a perfect explanation. In our story, there was a QR code in place of a paper menu. The QR code took the spot of the traditional menu.
Exactly. For another example, my friend was sick, so I had to give the presentation in place of him. I was his substitute.
So it really emphasizes that one thing is physically or functionally where another thing would normally be. It's a little more descriptive than just saying instead of.
Right. It's a very handy phrase for explaining substitutions. Okay, let's practice with some dialogues.
Where is the regular sugar?
We have honey in place of sugar. Is that okay? I thought David was our team captain. He's injured, so Maria is the captain in place of him today.
All right, our third expression is huddled around.
This is a very visual phrase. Can you picture it? People gathering closely together in a small group.
Exactly. In the story, the friends huddled around the small phone screen. They all had to get very close to see the menu.
I can just see it. It makes me think of penguins huddling together to stay warm. You often huddle for warmth or to see something small.
That's a great example. Or if you're sharing a secret, you might huddle together so no one else can hear. It implies being in a tight, close group.
So it's all about closeness and being in a small space together. A great descriptive phrase. Now let's try it out.
It's so cold outside.
I know. The kids were huddled around the heater to stay warm.
What's everyone looking at? The team is huddled around the coach, listening to his plan.
Okay, moving on to number 4. A bit of a pain.
This is a phrase I use all the time. It's a polite and gentle way to say something is annoying or inconvenient.
Right. It's not a huge problem, but it's just annoying. In the story, sharing one tiny phone screen to read a menu was a bit of a pain.
Exactly. My internet was slow yesterday. It wasn't a disaster, but it was a bit of a pain because I couldn't watch my show.
We use a bit of to make it sound softer. You could just say something is a pain, but a bit of a pain is more common and less aggressive.
It's perfect for small, everyday annoyances. Now, let's practice it in some dialogues.
How was the bus ride?
It was okay, but having to stand the whole way was a bit of a pain.
Did you assemble the new bookshelf?
Yes, but the instructions were confusing. It was a bit of a pain.
And our fifth expression today is at a loss.
This phrase describes a feeling of confusion. If you are at a loss, you don't know what to do or say in a situation.
Perfect. In the story, the older couple saw the QR code and were at a loss. They were confused and didn't know how to order.
It's that feeling when you're stuck. Imagine your friend asks you a very difficult question and you have no answer. You could say, "I'm sorry, I'm at a loss."
Right. It doesn't mean you're lost in a city. It means your mind is lost and can't find a solution or an answer. You feel helpless.
It's a great way to express that specific kind of confusion. Okay, let's try it out.
Did you fix the computer?
No, I'm at a loss. I've tried everything, but it won't turn on.
Why didn't you say anything in the meeting?
Honestly, I was at a loss for words. I was so surprised.
Finally, our last expression is old school.
This is a fun, informal adjective. We use old school to describe something that is from an older style. It's like the way things used to be.
Exactly. In the story, a paper menu is the old school way. The QR code is the new modern way. Old school isn't always negative, though.
That's a great point. Sometimes people prefer the old school style. For example, I love listening to music on old school vinyl records.
Me too. Or you might say, he has old school manners, which is a compliment, meaning he is very polite and traditional.
So it can mean old-fashioned, but often in a cool or nostalgic way. It's a very common and useful word. Now let's practice with some dialogues.
Do you text your friends?
Sometimes, but I prefer calling them on the phone. I guess I'm old school.
Wow, your car is amazing.
Thanks. It's an old school model from the 1970s.
All right, great job, everyone. Now it's time to practice speaking and really make these words your own. We're going to do some shadowing with today's story.
That's right. You'll hear the story again. The first time, you'll have the text on the screen. Read along out loud. The second time, the text will disappear. Try to speak along with the narrator from memory. Don't worry about being perfect. Just try your best.
Ready? Let's begin.
Last weekend, my friends and I went to a new restaurant. I heard it was all the rage, so we were all very excited. When we sat down, I looked for a menu, but there wasn't one. In place of a paper menu, there was a small QR code on the table. My friend, Hanako, scanned it with her phone. Then, all 4 of us huddled around her small screen to see the food. It was like we were studying for a test. It was a bit of a pain, honestly. I saw an older couple at the next table. They looked completely at a loss. It made me think, sometimes the old school way is just better and more comfortable for everyone. Last weekend, my friends and I went to a new restaurant. I heard it was all the rage, so we were all very excited. When we sat down, I looked for a menu, but there wasn't one. In place of a paper menu, there was a small QR code on the table. My friend, Hanako, scanned it with her phone. Then, all four of us huddled around her small screen to see the food. It was like we were studying for a test. It was a bit of a pain, honestly. I saw an older couple at the next table. They looked completely at a loss. It made me think, sometimes the old school way is just better and more comfortable for everyone.
And that's our podcast for today. You did an amazing job. We learned some really useful expressions.
We sure did. We talked about things that are all the rage and how sometimes the old school way is better, especially when new technology is a bit of a pain.
Exactly. And remember, it's okay to feel at a loss sometimes when you're learning something new. That's a normal part of the process.
Absolutely. The most important thing is to keep practicing. Don't give up. Your English will improve day by day.
We'd love to hear from you. If there's a topic you want us to cover, please let us know. And feel free to leave a comment in English or in your own language. We welcome it.
Thanks for joining us for the 1 Minute Fluent English podcast. We'll see you next time.